Good evening and welcome to round 3 of the UkSimracers Toyota GR86 Winter Series, sponsored by Results Clothing. Result Work Guard, dependable coordinated outwear, provides durability to those who rely heavily on their clothing at work. Work smart, foster workforce unity, and sharpen customer confidence by using Work Guard clothing. Work clever, rely on Work Guard garment design and technical fabrics to keep your workforce comfortable throughout their working day. Available in a wide range of sizes and colours, textures and finishes. Work Guide by Result will enhance the image, credibility and price of any professional tradesman from head to toe. Find them at shop.resultclothing.com. And we are here at the circuit of the Americas with myself, James Parfitt, and Daan Pepels joining me once again in the booth. The current track configuration here, 2 currently in use. This one we've been using the Grand Prix circuit from 2012 to present. Length 3.426 miles, 5.513 kilometers, 20 turns, no corner names, and a track record set by Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari SF90 in 2019 of a 136.169. We got no chance of seeing a 136 here today. They are going round currently at the best time of a 2:29.15. So they're looking at getting about 8 laps in this evening here with this Toyota, and I think it's time to bring the man himself into the booth, Mr. Daan Pepels. Good evening, Dan. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, James. I'm doing very well. Of course, first of all, James, I hope everyone had a lovely Christmas. It's just the day after Boxing Day, if I'm correct, right?
Yes. No? Yes, you are correct.
Well, here in the Netherlands, we don't have a Boxing Day. We have a second Christmas Day. That's what we do here. I heard that wasn't the case in other countries in the world, so we're different again. But yeah, I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. It was a little bit quiet on the JPB YouTube channel. No broadcasts during the Christmas time. But we're back, James, and well, what other league to come back with than the UkSimracers?
Absolutely, with this Toyota GR86. And why don't you tell us about last time out? That happened last week.
Well, last week, only a week ago, or already a week ago, because time flies, of course, we were at Brands Hatch for round 2. In the qualifying, it was Pete Newman who qualified on pole, Jamie Ayres second, and Carl Hardy in third. Race 1 also won by Pete Newman, so from pole to finish. Jamie Ayres in P2 and James Neve, if I'm correct, the AM driver in P3. Carl Hardy finished race 2 in P1. Ralph Cullen finished in P2. Miles Owens, also an AM driver, on the podium in P3. Race 3, Daniel Hunt in P1, Jamie Ayres P2, and Miles Owens once again as an AM driver on the podium. And you're wondering, did we get an AM driver on the podium in race 4 as well? Yes, we did. Winning race 4, though, was Pete Newman. Back on top, Ralph Cullen once again finished in P2, and Arnaud Chanonnier finished in P3 as the 4th AM driver on the podium that evening. So, James, 4 AM drivers, or 4 times we had an AM driver on the podium. That's unicum here in the UkSimracers.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the thing is as well is the AM drivers this year have got a lot quicker, and they're keeping up with the pros, especially James Neve. He's been mixing it up every single week, and currently the schedule is on your screen at the moment, guys. We are going to Donington Park. Then we're heading off to Lime Rock on the 10th. On the 1st of the 10th of January, and then on the 17th of January we go to Mount Panorama or Bathurst, depending on what you know it as. 24th of January we're off to the Red Bull Ring. 31st of January Snetterton Circuit. 7th of February Summit Point Raceway. 14th of February we are going to Suzuka International for the Valentine's Day special, and then round 11 we go 21st on February to Watkins Glen, and then rounding off the season in the 28th of February at Sebring Circuit. So currently in the championship standings, guys, we can guide you through who is leading at the moment in the pros. It's Ralph Cullen leading the way on 680 points. Jamie Ayres in second. Charles Kellerman in third. Massive jump up for him. 4 places on 570. Carl Hardy in 4th, Carl Jacklett 5th, Daniel Hunt 6th, Pete Newman 7th, Pete Van Gaal in 8th, Elise Main 9th, Craig Jones there in 10th, the newly promoted pro driver, Martin Sampson in 11th, and then we go down to the non-scorers at the moment of Andy Maxwell, Ches Rizzo, Darren McLean, Roy Vivek, Steve Hefford, and Will Currington. In the AMS, we got Dale Bennison leading the way on 632 points. We have Miles Owens from the Platinum Racing team there in 2nd. Miles had a good week last week, stellar job from him. Anthony Jacobson in 3rd, Arnold Chanonnier in 4th, James Neave in 5th, David Ayres in 6th, Andy Littler 7th, Roger Morton in 8th, Darrell Wright in 9th, Jason Hannington in 10th, Colin Sansom in 11th, Mick Barry 12th, Steve Hansard in 13th, Craig Deacon in 14th. Then, of course, at the moment, we've got no Alan Toon. He's recovering well, hopefully. Good evening, Alan. Hope you're well. Craig Crawford and Michael Searle, and currently no Darrell Wright, who is off sick with a cold. In the team championships at the moment, Safeguard by Result are leading the way on 1,347 points. Workguard by Result in 2nd. Results Clothing iRacing team in 3rd, and Spyro by Result in 4th. So it's a result 1, 2, 3, 4 so far in the teams. RWC Racing in 5th there, Momo 6th, Optical Green in 7th, Optical Red in 8th, Pure Sims in 9th, Platinum Racing Team in 10th, JN Racing 11th, EOF Reality SimRacers Studios in 12th, Year 1 in 13th, and Optical Blue in 14th place. So we've got a right mixture currently, Dan, at the moment of, people up in the championship. It's very unexpected that we would see Ralph Cullinan up in the championship. So, at the end of the day, he's doing quite well, considering that hopefully will be, getting himself in the mix for the championship.
Definitely. Well, the thing that I'm looking forward to, and is maybe something that not a lot of people expected as we go into qualifying now. We come to the end of practice, and we go immediately into a 15-minute qualifying. But the thing that I was looking forward to, or I am looking forward to the most, is to see how Craig Jones improves. Of course, he was upgraded to the pros, of course, for winning the overall AM Championship in the MX-5s, and now in this Toyota GR86. Not really liking this car. Got a bit more to grips with the car last time out at Brands Hatch, and I'm looking forward to just seeing his improvement through the season.
Yeah, I'm sure Craig will get to grips with the car. He's had a tough old time, First race of the season, he didn't finish the races. Good evening, Elise May. Merry Christmas and a happy holidays to all. Back in a week or two, where we look forward to seeing you back, Elise. Merry Christmas and a happy New Year to you as well. Hope everybody in chat has had a great Christmas. I know I did, and Dan did. He got 2 in the Netherlands. They have 2 Christmas days, 2 lots of presents. Happy days there. Ivan Bramer, welcome in as well. Going back to Craig, though, I think Craig will be okay. I think he just needs to settle down, get to grips with the very oversteery front end of this car. And I've been driving this car, and I've fallen in love with it. Not because it's a good car, it just matches how I drive. And I think I'm quite aggressive and be quite light on the steering, turning it in, and this car kind of rewards that. I've had quite a good week in iRacing, to be fair. I gained about 300 IR, which is, well, quite impressive for a commentator, really. But, just have to see.
Did you drive it after the update on Wednesday?
Yeah. Where are we at? Yeah, I've driven it. I drove it at Okayama.
Yeah, well, to me, I did 2 races before the update. Then I came back after the update because I had a league race in this car, and it felt completely different. It felt so much more stable under braking, and it wasn't as easy anymore to let the backhand step out a bit and, well, chuck it into the corner by just getting a little bit unstable under braking.
To be honest with you, I think from when I drove it initially in the Production Cup it was, and they were at Summit Point, I believe, and now obviously I just drove purely the GR86 at Okayama, and it locked in quite well for myself. I found it reacting actually better on more fuel than it did on low fuel. On low fuel it felt very loose. I couldn't get it to stop or couldn't get it to grip properly. But then again, I was further into the race, so unless I'd kind of thrashed the tyres to all high heaven, which is possible, but I don't know, just on higher fuel load, I think this car did a lot better than it did on the lower fuel. As I say, maybe it might be because I burnt the tyres out by the end and I couldn't stop the thing for love nor money. But, you know, I'm just kind of getting on with it, and I can't answer why, but it just matches how I drive at the moment.
Well, in qualifying, definitely for me, and for the drivers now, it will feel more loose than in the race. Why is that? I don't know. But why is it more unstable under low fuel than it is under high fuel? There must be a different reason for that than only the fuel. Because on high fuel, I'm doing exactly the same lap times. That is down to me. This is not something that these drivers will be doing. They are professionals. I'm just an amateur commentator who, well, likes to race sometimes. But my times in qualifying were exactly the same as they were in the race. And that's just because I like the car more in race trim and I can get on with it a bit better.
But as I say, does that go back to the fact you're carrying heavier fuel? And there's more weight there to keep the car down on the floor?
It could be.
That's the only thing I could come up with. Because my fastest laps were actually after about lap 4 or 5. And by the time I got down to lower fuel, I couldn't get it to stop properly. The braking point was exactly the same. I just couldn't get it to stop where it was normally. And I found it a lot more slidey than it was before. And it was really weird actually, but to be fair, Dan, it was almost tempting to overfuel the car.
Yeah.
To be able to have that weight to control what the car was doing. And I think they're still going to be playing with it. You know, we know full well it takes a while to get a car dialed up and ready to go. So I think they're still going to be playing with the setups. And I wasn't running an open setup that I can do. You know, you can do in some of the officials in the production cup. I think it's an open setup. So maybe you need to overfuel to keep the weight down. And as times start coming across the board there, Carl Hardy, quickest currently at the moment on the 2:31.5. These guys are only going to get probably maybe 3, touching 4 laps in on the 2:31.5 currently at the moment from your leader, which is Carl Hardy. Pete Van Gaal just a little bit further back from that. But overall, I think the car in general, you know, does well and suits how I drive, and maybe that's how I can get on with it. Yeah. Miles Owens is currently racing. He's there in 7th place for Platinum Racing Team as well in the AMS. He's 3rd overall in the AMS. We do have 16 cars on track this evening here at Kota. It's not everyone's favourite circuit. We were talking about this earlier on, Dan. Some of the racing that I've covered here before hasn't been the most gripping, do we say. So I'm hoping we can keep pockets of battles together. Oh, hey, where you going? No, hit the brakes, because there's cars coming, Miles. Yeah, maybe we'll leave Miles to get on with that one. We'll jump on board with your current championship leader, Ralph Cullinan, here in 8th place. It's good to see him leading the top of the timing tower. He has got his teammate Craig Jones just behind him. I am aware of an inter-result clothing battle going on at the moment through Roger Morton at Safeguard. Now, the results come out from last week and the scores come out as well. The interesting thing as well is the fact that Roger Morton was quite far down the standing. He did ask, these can't be right because I'm so far down. And, well, you know, he showed pace in the first race of the season, didn't he? But then last week he couldn't quite get it together. And I think from Morton's point of view, he kind of needs to almost settle down and try and go back to the pace that he had at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, well, maybe he started to think about it a bit too much. I find myself doing that a whole lot, to just start overthinking, and then by that I mean over driving the car You wanted to stick a little bit too much, things like that. Well, usually that is never good. I do have a fun fact for you, James.
Okay.
Onyx, who is in chat and asked if Miles was racing, is actually in this country at the moment. He is, well, for Christmas and I think New Year's, he is in America. So I don't know if he's close to Coda, but he could maybe go out and see these cars while driving. If he tried.
Well, worth a go, but I don't know what he's going to see if he appears at Kota at this moment in time. Probably not a whole lot apart from a load of pretty colours, which is be here on board with Carl Hardy. Van Gogh did go quicker that last time out, but so did Carl Hardy as well. So it'd be interesting. It's looking like a Carl Hardy Pete Van Gogh battle here at the moment. Alan Toon had a chest infection, so delayed the surgery, unfortunately, but you're doing okay. Good evening, Phil, across the pond. Welcome in. Thank you again so much for joining us as always. So hopefully Sir Alan will get better soon. Obviously did have that fall and damaged his shoulder. So poor Alan Toon. Not out on track with us currently at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, so we've got 18 cars on track. What are we physically expecting here from Kota? Because, as I say, if the cars get spread out, it's a long circuit, gaps can appear, and a lot of drivers will be driving around on their own.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen for all the viewers. We of course want some exciting racing, which we have seen in the last 2 weeks. And let's be honest here, James. Usually when we say this is not really a circus for racing, these guys usually prove us wrong. So let's hope that they do exactly the same here this evening. I do have to correct you. We're not with 18 drivers, but with 16. If I'm correct. I counted like 12 times, so I should be correct with that, if I can count.
Well, we've got 11 cars currently set time, and I've got 12 cars set a time, and I've got 4 cars that haven't. 60. So, fair play. I'm sure at one point there was 80. Maybe I just looked differently at something. Never mind. PPG gone faster again, so did Carl Hardy. So Pete Van Gogh on a 2:30.056, Carl Hardy on a 2:31.46. So quite close times currently going on at the moment. And then the fastest AM driver is this young gentleman himself, James Neve from JN Racing, getting the fastest AM time. Now I will pick up on Miles Owens. He is currently faster in sector 1 and 2. Be interesting to see how he does over the 3rd sector, whether or not he can rack up a time. Now, obviously, we have got AMs and pros signaled by their color strips on their windscreens. The light blue is the AMs, the yellow is the pros. Okay, so just if you haven't been here before, that is the situation with their windscreen strips. Now, I am aware that there is still 1 or 2 I haven't quite got them on their car yet, but I'm sure that will be rectified as it goes on, hopefully. Dan.
Well, I don't know where is there a penalty in the rules for if you do not do it?
Well, that would be a little bit harsh.
I guess so.
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I think due to the fact that they only come out about a few hours before race 1, I don't think there is. But although
but I mean further on in the season, maybe.
Well, maybe that's something to reach out to the admins about. As we see Miles Owens go top of the AM standings on a 2:31.059
time.
Yeah, stellar time for Miles Owens there. Unfortunately, it looks like Craig Jones here is still struggling here at this circuit and does kind of decide that enough is enough there as well. So unfortunately for him, is now gone off. Roger Morton. Pete Newman currently in 4th place, is faster in sector 1 and 2. See how he gets on as he goes across the line. Oh, A little bit squirrely there for Pete. Does go up into third, though, on a 2:32.59. So, there we go. Does improve.
I think it calls it a day as well for qualifying.
That's probably due to the fact that he's only crossed the line at 2 minutes, and it's a 2-minute 30 lap. So there we go. Let's see what Ralph Cullingham do. 31.170 last lap as well. So Roger Morton. Let's go P5 for the man saying he's slow around here. Well, Miles Owen seems to be doing okay.
He's always doing that.
Yeah, but he did have a good week last week as well, didn't he? So it'd
He
be
said
interesting.
he absolutely disliked the track last week, and he had the best evening yet. That's not difficult if you've only had 2 races in the UK SimRacers. Well, he got 2 podiums overall, so he was third 2 times. That is by no means a bad evening for an AM driver.
No, definitely not. I think he's just, maybe he might be one of these people that if he puts himself down almost by saying he's going to be slow, it kind of drives him to go quicker. Not sure if that's a thing, but possibly.
Yeah, it is.
Bill across the pond. James, how did you do on the awards show, as I couldn't find it last night? Well, unfortunately, I did not win commentator of the commentary of the year. That went to Lewis McGlade, so congratulations to Lewis there. He took the commentator of the year. I did not, so unfortunately there. Onwards and upwards for the year, though. You never know, might be next year, who knows. But we'll see what happens there as well. And you never know, there might be another JPB face in there as well, because not all about me here at JPB. It is about everyone that joins in with the broadcast, the likes of Zach Sweeney, Ewan O'Leary, of course, Dan Peoples, and Dean Biggles as well, and everybody else that's been involved. So you never know, we might push for somebody else at JPB, go for commentary of the year next year. Right. The grid is up, Dan. How fast do you think you're going to get through it? Let's go.
Well, let's hope pretty quickly. Pete Van Gool in P1, Carl Hardy P2, Pete Newman in P3, Jamie Harris P4, Miles Owens, the pole sitter in the AM class in 5th, Ralph Cullen in P6, P7 for James Neve, 8th, Roger Morton, Anthony Jacobson in P9, Carl Jacklin in P10, Charles Kellyman in P11, P12 for Greg Jones. Then I think we have the drivers who haven't set a lap time. David Ayres in P13, Jason Haddington in P14, Darrell Wright P15, and Mick Barry in P16.
Stellar job there. I know Darrell Wright is obviously not here. He's full of cold, so maybe he's joined the session at one point and then decided enough. So from Darrell Wright, but Carl Hardy is up front currently at the moment. Not sure Mick at a time either, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe the Flying Dutchman. Dan. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Let's see how the year develops. Go from there. Who we can get in. Never know. We might be able to get a JPB lockout. Who knows? And
that will be awesome.
Yeah, and then one of us will definitely take it there as well. So let's see what happens. But unfortunately, it wasn't my year this year. Never know. Next year, maybe. What happens as the years go on. 14 cars with Jason Haddington. I don't think we got Darrell right. Darrell's in with a cold, so he definitely is not. Good evening, SRL TV as well. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and New Year. Don't forget, guys, as well, you can subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the bells and give the video a big old thumbs up. Well, that would be really amazing, because we've still got some great racing to come this week. But the lights are on. Here we go. PVG on pole. We are green, green, green here from Kota. And it's Pete Van Gool, Pete Newman, and Carl Hardy. Carl's got a dreadful start. He's been overtaken by Jamie Ayres, overtaken by Pete Newman. And it's looking like Miles Owens has got him as well. The poor Carl Hardy there, Dan, went flying down the order after a very terrible start there.
Carl Hardy bumped down a lot after that start already. up the back of Miles Owens, already trying to re-overtake him, of course. Doesn't want to lose any time. Miles Owens had a little look up the inside of Jamie Ayres already into turn 1. Couldn't quite make that move stick to get third once again on the podium, but now is in fourth. Still in the lead of the AM class. We've had the first sector already, James, and it looks like we all got through cleanly.
Yeah, there are gainers and losers on the screen on the left-hand side there, guys. You can see that Kyle Hardy dropped a 3 on his start, and he got an absolute dreadful start there. We've got Pete Newman and PVG coming around into 11 here as well. Newman is on the inside. It's a very tricky corner. And Pete Van Gool, if he's not careful, he's going to get bullied out the way here by Jamie Ayres, because that entrance in is so important into 11. They've got to keep that momentum up. Otherwise, he's done what he has done at the moment and is currently under attack from Jamie Ayres, leading us down on this run down to the left-hander of 12. And it's Ayres and Van Gool side by side currently down, leading us down into 12.
Well, you've had that long back straight now. Pete Newman has survived that long slipstream zone. Jamie Ayres, though, goes up the inside of Pete Van Gool. That's position done for Jamie Ayres. Pete Van Gool, well, in the space of one corner and one straight, drops down all the way from P1, back down to P3. Meanwhile, in the back, it's Miles Owens fighting with Kyle Hardy. Tries to go up the inside. Can't quite make it, though. Up the inside of 12, not quite close enough.
They've got this run around the long 16, 17 and 18. It's a 3-turn corner. There's 1, there's 2, and then we're going to have the exit now here on this one here, which is turn 18 before we go into 19. The left-hander, Miles Owens, is doing well to keep up with where he has. Craig Jones has been involved in an incident, and it looks like he has dropped all the way down into 14th, and this is what happened to Craig Jones. Unfortunately, there's David Ayres right behind him. Did Ayres send him out the inside? He is, you know. He is. Oh, David Ayres gently helping Craig Jones to drop down the order there. But Pete Newman is out in front currently. Jamie Ayres in second. PVG third. Miles Owens fourth. Kyle Hardy in fifth. Miles is the lead AMS here, Dan. He's doing another stellar job, really, in conjunction with what we were talking about earlier on and how he's sort of sandbagging his way through the season by telling everybody he's not fast, he's not fast, he's not fast. And at the moment, he's in fourth place, keeping 4 pros behind him.
Well, that's exactly what he has done from the start of the season, saying he isn't that quick. Well, lowering everyone's expectations and then coming out in the first race and absolutely blowing everyone away with, well, a really good result. And I think for Miles Owens, that is maybe a position where, like you just said at the beginning of qualifying, he maybe wants to put himself to, well, don't get the expectations too high because, that's a little touch in the background there. Neve could save it, though, was almost around. Who did he touch with, though?
Kyle Hardy. Touched Kyle Hardy, and unfortunately, then Kyle managed to keep it going. But Miles Owens is attacking Pete Van Gool on this run down into turn 12 currently in the moment. Is Owens going to go for it? Why not, son? Fill your boots. Oh, didn't quite commit as I thought he was going to, and it looked like he could have had that job done.
Well, what has happened to Pete Van Gool? It looked like he had, well, blistering pace in the qualifying, but nothing of that to be seen here in the race. Meanwhile, Roger Morton being overtaken by Ralph Cullinan. The Irishman at the moment up into P8. Jacqueline is the one up ahead of him, is the next target for him to try and overtake. Gets a little bit of a touch, I think, from Roger Morton. Down into 15. Couldn't quite make the corner because of that, but keeps ahead, though, of Roger Morton.
Yeah, only just, mind you. He did go into deep there as well. He survives on this run round 18 now before he goes down into 19. And this is Ralph Cullinan looking pretty at the moment because Roger Morton has got the ever-charging Charles Kellerman and the fast Neve of the AMS there, James Neve of JM Racing. Another fast driver on the track as they go round turn 20. 20 corners here this evening. 2:30 lap times at the moment. Jamie Ayres setting the fastest on a 2:30.57. Craig Jones has gone round again. He's having a horrendous time this evening here, and he cannot quite hook it up here at Daan at the moment. He never did really love the car, and he's still not, by the looks of it, loving it even more.
No, he isn't. Pete Newman, meanwhile, though, under attack from Jamie Ayres. Set off line. Jamie Ayres, though, hits the curb on the inside. And, well, that was almost race over for Jamie Ayres. Let's hope that there's no suspension damage or any sorts of that for Jamie Ayres, because that looked like a really hard hit to that sausage curb on the inside of, what was it, I think turn 4 or 5?
Yeah, I believe he was on that run through, wasn't it? So 3, 4 and 5 here. Neve did just get past Cullinan and is now chasing down Morton. We have an interesting thing here as well from James Neve. He's kind of the ham between the results boys currently at the moment. Cullinan looks like he's picking up absolutely bucket loads of space. Neve sent it on Morton. He sent it in the hairpin of 11. Can he carry that speed out? Cullinan is also going to carry speed out as well. This is going to be a straight drag race down into 12. They could end up going 3 wide, depending if Ralph Cullinan wants to put his nose in. He does. He says he's going to go for it. The Irishman's got his Guinness. He's drinking away, and he's got the inside at the moment on this run down into 12. How is this going to pan out? Is it going to be Cullinan? Morton backs out and says, nope. And Cullinan takes 2 positions on that run down to 12, Dan, and makes it through.
Yeah, meanwhile behind that, I think David Ayres went really wide down into 12. He dropped all the way down. Now, at the moment, back down into P11 to 12. I don't know who's behind that. I think Jacqueline and Jones are behind that fighting, right?
Yeah, Jacqueline and Jones. It looks like Jacqueline may have been involved in an incident here as well. Oh, Jacqueline, we'll have to see. Did he go into Craig Jones? That's going to be more the question. Or did he go completely on his own? Because it looks like on this run into turn 1, it could be all on his own. And it is. Oh, Carl. Whoa. That would be why I got a notification about Kellerman there. Poor old Carl Jacqueline. Car is not being nice to these drivers, but it is being nice to Miles Owens. He seems to be another one that's got to grips with this car, and it seems to be absolutely flying in it currently, sitting in 3rd place, Dan, and leading the AMS overall.
Doing a tremendous job is Miles Owens. He has some company from behind, though. Carl Hardy has caught up to Pete Van Gool and Miles Owens fighting. 2 seconds is the gap already from Pete Van Gool to Jamie Ayres. Pete Van Gool also hitting the curb on the inside really hard. This now unsettles and throws him off his line into, I think, 8 and 7. And, well, he pays the price for that, loses a couple of tenths to Miles Owens. And Miles Owens now 5 tenths behind Pete Van Gool. We're looking, meanwhile, at the battle between Roger Morton and James Neve. James Neve himself trying to get closer to Ralph Cullinan up ahead of him. But it's looking like, you said, the battles are going to be spaced out here.
Yeah, I think they are. We've got little pockets going on at the moment as well. Pete Newman is under attack from Ayres. We picked that up right at the right time as they're going down 11 on this run down into 12. And it's Ayres on the left-hand side in the red Momo, Pure Sims. Pete Newman on the right in the white, the blue and the yellow. GR86 here in his normal livery that we do like, with Pete Newman running a Pure Sims car. And Jamie Ayres going through. And Jamie has taken 1st place and almost dragging what seems to be Pete Van Gool behind him. Now, I don't want to spectate on what's gone on here, but I'm not entirely sure Craig Jones is going to last in this one. It looks like him and Carl, possibly him and Carl Jacqueline have had it coming together. We'll see how this replay pans out. Oh, did both, yes, both went round. Jacqueline went round again. And unfortunately there as well, Craig Jones decided to back out and almost join him. The fear of doing this car when you're not comfortable in it. And that's what's happening at the moment there, down with Craig Jones and Carl Jacqueline.
Well, Craig Jones absolutely not liking this car at the moment. Jamie Ayres, though, is someone who is very much a fan of this car, it looks like, because he has overtaken Pete Newman. Pete Newman, though, says, I'm not going to let this one go without a fight. He's going to fight back to Jamie Ayres, maybe down into turn 1, or up into turn 1, we should say, the highest point of the track.
We've just had the lowest point of the track between turn 19 and 20. He's going for it though. Pete Newman makes the move up the inside of turn 1. Jamie Ayres will get the better exit down to turn 2. And it looks like, Jamie Ayres has got this one settled now once again into turn 1 and can now maybe try and build a gap through this twisty section.
Yeah, the different lines through here as well. We've seen them with all 3 of the cars. People have been taking some high curves and been risking it for a biscuit, I tell you that much, as they go through 7. Now, the left-hander, where they've been taking some of the sausage curve. Pete Newman, different line again, tightens it up, and it looks like he's got to try and get a better exit out of 9 for this run down into 10 at the moment. Oh, PVG, big slide on there from Pete Van Gool. Jason Haddington himself has been caught up in there as well. Looked like it could possibly be a complete solo, but at the moment it's Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman and Pete Van Gool with Miles Owens and Anthony Jacobson, who we haven't really touched on this evening, but he's having a stellar job at the moment. Miles Owens, Carl Hardy there as well. Carl Hardy did pass Miles Owens, but Owens has dropped down into 5th place now, Dan.
That pass happened from the run down to turn 2, or from the run down to turn 10 to turn 11. I think Miles Owens actually let Carl Hardy pass because, I think he saw that he was holding up Hardy. And Hardy, of course, is in this potential battle for the lead here in the Pro class. I think after this lap, we have either 1 or 2 laps left. Jamie Ayres, though, a big slide, and that loses him the first position. Pete Newman now up to P1. Pete Van Gool now trying to make his way around the outside of Jamie Ayres. Can't quite do it, though. Jamie Ayres says, I'm going to try and get this P1 back. At the moment, though, can't quite do that. But that was a big slide for Jamie Ayres. And I think lucky he caught that one.
Yeah, lucky he held on to that 2nd place. Because if he'd gone round, it was not going to be good for him currently there either. So PVG coming now into 3rd between 19 and 20. He's looking at going up the inside of Jamie Ayres currently at the moment. Does make it through at turn 20. This is going to be the last lap of the race. Barney is waving on the right-hand side, and we're going to have 7 laps here tonight, Dan. And, well, he did say it's only going to be a short lap run with the amount of time they've got.
Yeah, it's a long circuit, this one, and if you have lap times of, last lap time for Pete Newman, a 2:30.58. Just to sum up, as we see now, Pete Van Gool going around the outside, Jamie Ayres, can he make it stick though? Tricky, twisty section. Can Pete Van Gool try and get something from this still? Because of course, remember, he started from pole position, dropped down, didn't have the pace, but this fighting has allowed now Hardy to get close to them as well. And it has allowed Pete Newman to get a gap of 1.3 seconds. So you would say, if Pete Newman doesn't do anything crazy here, he should have this win settled. It's now for P2 that Pete Van Gool and Jamie Ayres are fighting. Carl Hardy, though, don't ride him out of this one yet, because he is still close enough to go for a move on Pete Van Gool. And because this is such a long lap, maybe go for a move on Ayres as well.
At 12. He's got to go at 12. Got to get close enough to get this run down. I think, if anything, Ayres has got a little bit further up currently at the moment there, Dan. I don't think he's going to do it. If he's going to get a run, it will be on PVG in front here for Carl Hardy. This has got to be the run into 12, and we'll see how he gets on. I don't think he's going to make it, Dan. I've got a funny feeling PVG is going to hang on here. Does do down into turn 12. And I think that's going to be the top 3 as they currently are, because I can't see anywhere else that changes can really happen unless a mistake happen.
The last corner could still be a part of the track where it could happen. Also here, down into 15. You could throw the car up the inside. Not quite close enough, though. Jamie Ayres did catch up to Pete Newman again, about 6/10 after that fight with Pete Van Gool's now dropping back a bit, so it seems to ebb and flow a little bit between those two. They're both quicker on different parts of the track, but like you said, it seems like everyone is too far back from each other. The only one I really can see make a move maybe down to the last corner is Carl Hardy, though, but Pete Newman has driven, very well, let's say it like that, and Pete Newman's got to come across the line to take victory in race 1 here, and Pete Newman across the line for a win. Behind that, Jamie Ayres in P2, Pete Van Gool in P3, and Carl Hardy finishes in P4. Winner, though, behind that in the AM class, James is Miles Owens ahead of Anthony Jacobson, and coming through in third there is James Neef, just ahead of Ralph Cullinan.
Yeah, Roger Morton there, just ahead of Charles Kellerman as well. It seems like that first line is the one that is recognised here, and not the actual finishing line, which is where Barney is waving. Oh, Carl Jacqueline.
Well, I think that sums up his race. Is he gonna reverse across the line?
Yes. Why not? Give it a go, innit? Mick Barry here in 15th. I didn't even realise that Mick was on track currently at the moment.
I think he started from the pit lane, James. I saw all drivers out on track earlier on. I saw also, I think, Darrell Wright out on track, if my eyes are not deceiving me. But
Your eyes are
yeah,
deceiving you. Darrell Wright has not. Darrell's in YouTube that's saying, I'm watching him.
Okay. Well, then I have to go to an eye specialist to get my eyes checked, because clearly I'm seeing things that are not the case.
As they say, but I've got a Specsavers there.
Well, James, what can we take from this first race? Of course, we know that race 2, usually as the races go on, the races get a little bit more competitive because everyone knows the track a little bit better. But what can we take away from this first race, really?
Well, seems to be there in race 1 that we had the pockets of battles, which is what we expected. As the cars got more and more spread out across the track. And I think what we want to try and not do is get that too far spread out. And I think these guys are going to be trying to keep it close together there, as the results are up on your screen. So Pete Van Gool is your victor this evening. Whoa. No. Did even get a penalty?
This is the qualifying result. It says, I think. Is this the race 1 result, or is this the qualifying result? I don't know. There we go.
There we go. Not quite sure what was going on there. Pete Newman is in first. Jamie Ayres in second. PVG in third. Carl Hardy fourth. Miles Owens in fifth. Anthony Jacobson in James Neef seventh. Ralph Cullinan eighth. Roger Morton, 9th. Charles Kellerman in 10th. David Ayres in 11th. Craig Jones, Carl Jacqueline, Jason Hannington, Mick Barry, all down in 12, 13, 14. Go well so far for them. Did it really, Dan? So, you know, from their point of view, I think they've got to go away and assess where the situation went wrong, because it went wrong, and for them guys, unfortunately, it wasn't too clever either for them there as well. Ralph is our resident expert on fine Irish whiskey. There we go. Clearly not a Guinness driver. Mine next there with the emoji for Miles Owens. All right, well done, Pete Newman, as we watch Ralph go round in 11. So there we go. All in all, I think the fact that we still had battles on track as the laps went on, that's always a good omen for the racing, right? Because as we know, as the evening goes on, you know, they can have slow times as well. But we seem to be okay currently at the moment.
Well, I think we expected at the beginning the field to spread out quite quickly on this, well, very long track. 2 minutes 29 in qualifying, I think, was one of the quickest lap times. Or I think in the end we saw a 2:30.05 something. So a 2:30 round, we can say, is a very quick lap time around here. And that is one of the longest I think we will see this season. It doesn't particularly mean that the battles will be spread out more, but as we said in the beginning, and as especially James said in the beginning, this track usually, from our experience, is a track that doesn't provide you with a lot of exciting racing, and I think we still saw that at the top. Of course, part of that was that I think Carl Hardy at some point had to come back through the field. He was at one point quickest in that race, was setting purple lap times. And he, of course, once he got past Miles Owens, he was hunting down Pete Newman and all those at the front. Couldn't take the victory in the end and had to settle for P4, so just outside of the podium as well. But, well, he had a shot at it. And I think if we can take one thing away from race 1 here, James, is that it isn't going to be boring.
No. And the interesting thing about what we just watched there is Ralph Cullen trying to do practice starts in the car. Now, I tried at numerous different points in the revs in first gear. And the most I got was a and then it went.
Yeah.
There just doesn't seem to be a launch technique car that you can actually get it off the grid consistency. Now, considering I only use one clutch, which is a foot pedal, I don't use two, so I can't, go again at it and that. But I think from their guys' point of view, if you get this thing, this GR86 off the line, you're going to be going quicker than the guy who hasn't. And I think that's one of the things with this car. It is a very tricky car to get off the line at the moment, and people have still been trying to work hard, as we saw Ralph Cullen there as well, and obviously going over the grass. Hold it. Manages to. But it's tough to get off the line, this car.
From what I know, James, one of the techniques that is mostly used is keep half clutch all the way in first gear. That seems to be the best strategy to launch this car. So keep the clutch half engaged until you reach the end of first gear. And then you can just release the clutch.
Right, okay.
For me, that's a bit difficult. I have a foot pedalless clutch as well. But I don't really like to use it because it has so much travel in it. And I'm, of course, also not used to it. But we'll go over the grid really quickly here, if we can still do that. There we go. Charles Kellerman in P1, Roger Morton P2, Ralph Cullen P3, James Neef P4, Anthony Jacobson P5, Miles Owens P6, Carl Hardy P7, Pete Newman P8, P9 for Jamie S, Pete Newman P10, David Ayres P11, Craig Jones in P12, Carl Jacklin P13, Jason Haddington in P14, Mick Barrett P15, Darrell Wright P16, and it's time to go.
Here we go. Charles Kellerman on pole, the lights are out. Oh! Cullen's not gone anywhere. Cullen did not go anywhere. Still not going anywhere. Well, that wasn't the ideal start for the Irishman, who we saw practicing starts. Clearly needs more practice because he didn't actually get off the line there, Daan. It caused a massive ding-dong behind, and there was a few cars into the back. Ralph Cullen and Pete Newman had to take there as well. But all in all, not good so far. I think it may have been Carl Hardy who also went into the back of Ralph Cullen, and we can have another look here at the beginning, and I don't think he went anywhere, Dan. He didn't move, did he?
No, he didn't. I don't know if that's a hardware issue. It seems like the brake lights are at least on. Do the brake lights go off? No, they don't. I think that is either Carl Hardy stepping away from the rig and not being back in time, or it could be a hardware issue, which I think is the most likely of the two. But there you see, there go the brake lights, and, well, he's going again. But, well, that's unfortunate for Ralph Cullen and, well, Carl Hardy as well, because he had nothing to do with that and saw him, I think, too late to react to that.
Yeah, definitely there as well. Ralph Cullen did not go off the line. Charles Kellerman in second, PPG in third. Anthony Jacobson now on the inside on this run down into 12. For lap one here this evening, they are technically going to be free wide if we have a look on board the chopper. Oh, Kellerman squeezed out Van Gogh. Jacobson, the door's wide open. Go Burgle. Oh, did he? No, he ended up losing position there as well. PVG's just made the move past Charles Kellerman, though, currently at the moment, and that is PVG into second place there, Dan. Job done from him. And we'll have a look at the gainers and losers here. PVG up 6, Newman 6, Ayres, Owens swapping backwards and forwards. Jones up 3, Addington 3, Barry 3, and Ayres up 4 there as well. So there's a little pocket here, Dan. And this is the battle with Roger Morton and Pete Van Gool.
Well, Pete Van Gool finally got himself up into P1 where he qualified in race, or in the qualifying. In the background, I think we see Anthony Jacobson going round. He's dropped down all the way down the order. That was coming out of turn 19, and he had a little spinner into the wall on the left-hand side. He managed to get going again. Pete Van Gool, though, meanwhile, we saw that move up into P1, can stay there down this front stretch, and it seems like Roger Morton can't do anything about that yet. Maybe the rundown from turn 1 to turn 2. That's a little bit too short for Roger Morton, excuse me, to do anything to Pete Van Gool. Pete Van Gool, like I said, finally up into P1. Can he now try and create a little bit of a gap to Charles Kelly and Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres behind that to try and get the victory?
No. I think Morton is going to be closing all over the back of him currently at the moment. Morton is the fastest AMS here as well. Here we go. Morton's on the tighten that corner up a lot better than PVG did. Carry more speed now on this run down. PVG hits the curb. He's up in the air. It's going to be all over the place currently at the moment. Slow cars, fast cars. And Roger Morton's on the left in the bright green car as they're heading down into turn 11. And as I was saying, not going to hold on this time.
No, he's not. I don't think that Roger Morton went anywhere in that corner. It looked like he hit the brakes and for some strange reason couldn't turn in, or, well, didn't turn in. Now, maybe they go 3 wide into turn 12. Not quite. Pete Newman has that one settled. Maybe he goes deep into turn 12. Yes, he does. And he makes it difficult for himself. Roger Morton, though, can he try and go around the outside? Maybe to turn 13. Can he make something work? Not quite. Jamie Ayres is now going to try and make that pass through 13, 14, and 15. It looks like Newman has his hands full of Ayres and Morton in his mirror.
Yeah, it does here as well. Currently round 15 we go on this run, round 16, 17, 18, and it's Newman, Ayres, Morton, Owens, Van Gool. So the 2 AM drivers are right next to each other currently at the moment. We've got 2 pros, 2 AMs, and then we've got a group of pros, 3 pros behind that as well. But this is where the action is taking place currently at the moment. Roger Morton in 3rd, battling Jamie Ayres for 2nd place here. We have to see how he gets on. Miles Owens as well. Miles has had a good night. He's done well in race 1, winning the AMs here. You know, is he thinking long term? Because he's just set the fastest lap of the race on a 2:31.964. Or does he want to clear Morton? I think from Owens' well, as I said, he's going to go and send it up the inside. Unless Morton is going to try and block that off. Not going to do. It's going to be Owens and Morton coming out side by side down as they go for this run down round turn 2.
Well, now into the tricky, twisty section. There's a challenge for the lead up ahead as well. Jamie Ayres, for a moment, was looking around the outside of Pete Newman. Couldn't quite make it stick. Roger Morton also defended from Miles Owens. Pete Van Gool now all over Miles Owens. So Pete Van Gool, of course, we saw that incident he had with Roger Morton, is now trying to make his way past Van Gool again. Try and make his way back onto the podium. But for Pete Van Gool, a frustrating beginning of the race, and it's going to get even more frustrating after... Well, he is.
Woo. Go PVG! Stellar job from him there, but his back end, if we have a look, if Carl Jacklett can get close enough, have a look at the back end of PVGs, I don't think we're going to be close enough this time around. But Pete Van Gool's back end is not looking pretty, whether or not he's losing any form of aerodynamics. You can see it there, the front of the back left is all crashed up currently at the moment. But it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that one. And we've got Newman, Ayres, Morton and Owens are your top 4 currently at the moment, with Craig Jones chasing down Jason Haddington here this evening as well. So maybe Craig is starting to get the hang of this car in race 2.
Well, let's hope for Craig Jones that is the case. Still has a little bit to go though, because the gap to Pete Van Gool called Jacqueline at the moment seems about 3 to 3.5 seconds for Craig Jones. Of course, didn't have the best starting position though. And who's that round? That's Jacqueline round. And that is another position, of course, for Jones that he has gained now in the Pro class. Jacqueline, we saw it in the first race car, not being nice to him. And in race 2, the same story continues. For Craig Jones, though, it is different at the moment. He's trying to get past Jason Haddington from the AM class. Nice cutback there from Craig Jones. He has the inside for the last corner now, turn 20. And has made that pass stick. Jason Haddington doesn't fight that one too much. Knows that that fight is not in his class. And now Craig Jones can chase down Charles Kellerman ahead of him.
Yeah, but this is the battle for the lead of the AMs. And it's Miles Owens from Platinum Racing Team and Roger Morton safeguard by result here this evening, battling away out for the lead of the AMs. And it's Morton on top currently at the moment with Owens behind him. Looks like Haddington there is got for company Jones and Cullinan. Now, we know no team orders in the Results Clothing iRacing team, but we also are aware that Jones is going to be... No, I didn't think he was going to fight that too tough, but Pete Newman is under attack from Jamie Ayres, and we know Jamie Ayres will fight and go for it as much as possible.
Well, Jamie Ayres, we saw this fight last race as well between these two. That time, it was Pete Newman coming out on top, and Jamie Ayres in the end coming through in second. Jamie Ayres, though, has another shot at it. 2.5 tenths is the gap coming onto the backstretch. This should, James, be close enough to try and make a move into turn 12.
Yeah, I think he's going to be getting that run down. It's going to be where is Newman going to go? Is Newman going to cover the inside? Or is he going to take the outside? He's looking like he's going to cover the inside, but just going to leave Ayres to climb around the outside of 12. Owen and Morton have done the same. Owens has got the inside line, though. Morton is going to try and cut back that car, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. As with the same up front. What is happening up front, Dan, is whoa!
Collision, that's what's happening at the front. Jamie Ayres coming together with Pete Newman, and well, James, I didn't quite see how that materialized because I was looking on my timing screen. So tell me.
Well, it looked like their Ayres carried more speed through, and unfortunately, Pete Newman was just there. Miles Owens got in front of currently as well Roger Morton, but it's whether or not Miles Owens now is going to go for Pete Newman, and to be honest, why shouldn't he? He's got the opportunity there. He might as well go for it again.
Yeah, well, the streak has ended for the drivers, or for AM drivers on the podium. 4 races was the streak, of course. Last round that started, and it also ended because in race 1 we didn't have an AM driver on the podium. Miles Owens, though, or Roger Morton could start up that streak again because Miles Owens now at the moment on the podium spots. That's a bit deep, I think, for Miles Owens. Is coming together with Pete Newman, a little touch, and it has allowed Roger Morton to get a better exit. The run that's turn 2, and Roger Morton, James, is once again ahead of Miles Owens.
Yeah, these guys are on lap 5, 4:20 on the clock just at the moment, and it looks like this is going to be a battle that is going to rumble on. At the moment, though, Craig Jones is rumbling on with David Ayres from the Spyro by result team at the moment, and it is Ayres out in front of Jones, and I'm beating a pro. We can't really, though, with that one, Dan, carry that as much weight as we have seen previously because the AMs and pros are so evenly matched this year.
Yeah.
There's nothing between them. You know, you got Roger Morton in third, Craig Jones, Miles Owens in fourth, who's ahead of PVG, last year's champion. We see Jones, is he going to hold that car? Oh, he is. Is he going to hold it from Jason Haddington? No, Haddington is going to go through. But the gaps now are so fine that there's no real surprise with saying Roger Morton's in third place.
Well, there isn't at the moment. Of course, this is the last round where the drivers are placed in their categories. After this round, of course, things could. They don't necessarily have to, but things could change, if I'm correct, James. After round 3, there was said to be, for the drivers that needed this, a change of class. Now, I don't have any particular drivers because it seems like James Neave has been struggling today as well. I don't have any particular drivers where I would say these drivers are particular candidates to move up to Pro class. But I don't know. It seems like they're just so closely matched that what can you say about it?
No. Jason Huntington and Craig Jones. Just at that moment you were talking, and that happened. That one's all you.
I'm
As
sorry.
you see, Jamie Ayres go across the line for the final time this evening, and he looks like he's kind of got this run wrapped up really, bar any silly mistakes from Jamie Ayres with Newman behind him. Now, I got a funny feeling Morton is going to take the AM victory with Owens behind that. But as we can see there as well, commentator's curse is never over until it's over. And Dan cursed Jason Huntington and Craig Jones.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, like you said, the Miles Owens in P2. Here we go. Once again, Ralph Cullinan trying to overtake Charles Kellerman. Couldn't quite make it. What I was going to say is Miles Owens in P4 now. He's been consistently up there, or at least on the podium in the AM class. And in the end, what gets you a championship is not those one-off good results. It's being consistent throughout the whole championship, being there time and time again. And at the moment, Miles Owens is doing so. If he's going to be able to do that for the whole season, well, we'll see, of course, throughout the season. But at the moment, it seems like he's consistently there. Of course, it's a little bit too early still, I think, James, to say these drivers are going to go for the championship and these drivers are not. Because it is so early on in a new car. But it definitely seems like that Miles Owens is consistently up there.
Yeah, I think he's got his race one blues out the way now. We're going into where we're coming to the end of three, because we're going to be halfway through race three. This is race two of the evening. We do have 4 races coming for you. And he seems to have got his head screwed on with this car now, and it's always good when you can get a grips with a car, because that allows you to drive at the pace that you know you can. Morton here has got to defend for his life at the moment, because Owens is looking so much quicker, and it's whether or not Owens can make that move into the last couple of corners. He's looking to go and try and dive on the inside. Is he? No, not this time. Is he going to try and get a run out here? But it's going
Not quite close enough, I think.
It's going to be Jamie Ayres. He is going to come across the line and be your victor in race 2, with Pete Newman behind him, Roger Morton behind that, and of Miles Owens behind him. Pete Van Gaal almost spinning up there. Ralph Cullinan coming across the line in 6th, ahead of Charles Kellerman. David Ayres in 8th place, Anthony Jacobson in 9th. Carl Jacklett recovering through to 10th place. He was up 3 on his grid positions. Nick Barry up 4. Here comes Craig Jones with a very dented looking car, as is Jason Huntington's currently at the moment there as well. Tough race for some drivers there, Dan. I think they had a bit of a toughie. But the results are in. Dan, lead us through them.
Well, I think one of those drivers, coming back to what you just said, having a difficult race here is Pete Van Gaal. Of course, was looking strong in race 1. Got onto the podium in P3. But, of course, you saw that incident he had with Roger Morton. Wasn't ever able to come back from that. Probably because some damage on that car. Jamie Ayres, though, this time he does take it over Pete Newman. He wins in race 2 ahead of, like I just said, Pete Newman in P2. Roger Morton then in 3rd. An AM driver on the podium. And he's, of course, the winner of the AM class as well. Miles Owens in 2nd in the AM class. Pete Van Gaal in 5th, 6th, Ralph Cullinan. 7th, Charles Kellerman. David Ayres, though, is the 3rd driver in the AM class. And he comes through in 8th. 9th, Anthony Jacobson. 10th, Carl Jacklett. Craig Jones, 11th. 12th, Jason Haddington. Mick Barry in P13. This time he does finish the race within the lead lap. James Neve in P14. Carl Hardy in P15. And of course, not starting this race. But in chat, it was Darrell Wright.
Yeah, so there we go, guys. That is the final run from race 2. We are going to be jumping over sessions, so we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back, guys, here for race 3 this evening from Kota, here with the GR86 with the UkSimracers. I am James Parfitt, and as per normal, I am joined in the booth by Daan Pepels this evening, who has been joining me consistently for last season and this season as well. So welcome once again, Dan. We are going in to the end of practice before we go in to race 3, and I think this is going to be something different here, Dan, with race 3, especially knowing that the cars, as we know, you know, still Craig Jones has been in chat, top 15, solid top 15. You know,
Yeah.
he's been around the track a lot, hasn't he?
Exactly. He's doing a good job on getting those consistent top 15s. If you want to be there with only 16 cars on the grid, I don't know, with one of them not racing and being down right. I think we'll see only 15 cars at the moment. Well, he's learning, and every other mile that he makes, every other kilometer that he drives in this car, it is, well, good for him. Good to get to know the car a little bit more. But we'll go over the grid really quickly, because as we know, these drivers get onto the grid really quickly. Jason Haddington will start from pole position in this race out of Craig Jones at P2. Carl Jacklett P3, David Ayres P4, James Neve P5, P6 for Charles Kellyman, Anthony Jacobson P7, Ralph Cullinan P8, P9 for Miles Owens, P10 for Carl Hardy, Roger Morton P11, Pete Van Gool P12, Jamie Ayres P13, Pete Newman in P14, and Mick Barry in P15.
Right, and we are off, ready to go. The lights are coming on now. Jason Haddington, 3, 4, 5. That little bit there that's driving Dan crazy currently at the moment, as the car's not starting where they are. And at the moment, Charles Kellerman has got an absolutely barnstorming start. Jason Haddington still out in front. Craig Jones pushing into turn 1. James Neve trying to go up the inside of Jacklett. Jacklett, oh! Haddington and Jacklett with contact. And currently now that is Jacklett in front, Neve in second, Jones in third, Jacobson in fourth, Haddington fifth, Kellerman down in sixth, and Miles Owens looking at coming down through the order as well. He's currently sitting in 7th place.
Well, Haddington went wide in turn 1, and I have to say, good awareness from Craig Jones to notice that and, well, make a little bit of room on the inside. Of course, never, well, nice to have to do that, because, of course, it loses you time, but it's better than, well, getting damage to the car and ruining your whole race. So, well, good awareness there from Craig Jones, and that kept him in this race. Meanwhile, Miles Owens up the inside of Kellyman around the outside. Now they're still side by side. This is the run down to turn 11. Can he make that move, stick around the outside? He was paused for a second. Of course, the better run for
Neve's made it up.
Charles
Jacklett.
Kellyman.
Sorry there, Dan. James Neve made it past Carl Jacklett. Jacobson's just made it past Jones, who went in deep. But now this is Neve's run down into turn 12 with Carl Jacklett behind him. Jacklett is close enough, but the gap's extending rather weirdly. When normally under draft it comes down, but it was actually going up at one point. Now it's starting to come down. But also Jones's draft time has come down as well over Jacobson. He's not making it through. I don't think Cullinan's going to make it through unless he has gone for a big old dive from Ralph Cullinan. He makes it through on David Ayres, and that is Ralph Cullinan up into 8th place there. But, you know, as you say with Miles Owens, whatever he's done, he dropped down the order. Now he's down into 7th after that one. So, you know, he was having a good race, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Well, James Neve at the moment, who is the leader of this race. James, 7 races ago was his last win, of course, at Barber Motorsport Park. Race 3 that evening, where we saw 2 AM drivers on the podium. James Neve, of course, winning that one, and Darrell Wright in B3. Darrell Wright, of course, not racing here this evening. But yeah, that was his last victory, and he could well, if he can create a gap to Carl Jacklett, could well do it again here. This is Jason Haddington, though, spinning out of P5, losing all the positions that he had at the start, and now he's got to wait, that patient wait for the whole field to get past. And he did do so, and now he can finally, after a painful while, what was it, 5-6 seconds, James, of waiting for the whole field to pass, can finally continue his way. Miles Owens now making his move up the inside of Charles Kellyman, makes that one stick this time round. And this time around, he can try to chase down Craig Jones ahead of him now for a P4 overall. But once again, James Neave leading, just like last time when he won, and 2 AM drivers on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be exciting to see how this one pans out. Neve is out in front. Jacklett in second. Jacobson third. Jones there in fourth. I think the thing for Jones is the ever-looming AM of Miles Owens. And Owens has had a stellar evening, but he is being chased down by Charles Kellerman and Ralph Cullinan. The interesting thing, though, Dan, as well, is these gentlemen here has not made his normal game that he would do normally here this evening, and he's currently sitting down in 10th place.
Well, what do we put that down to, James? Is that just the AMs or all the other drivers ahead of that, well, getting better at those starts in the car, knowing how to launch this car properly now? Well, what do we put it down to? As in the background, I think we see Mick Barry going really wide.
Well, honestly, I just think the tough nature of this circuit is adding up to the fact of what is being caused the problem. I think that it's such a tough circuit. Look at this, 3 wide. Cullen and Van Gaal there. Owens run around the outside, and Miles Owens in the 5th place now, but he has got a gaggle of Pete Van Gaal, Ralph Cullen, and Cullen's looking to try to go up the inside now as these guys are going around 13 and 14. The Irishman and the Dutchman had a race. Who's going to win there? It's going to be the Dutchman currently at the moment. Oh, he does mount the curb. Goes past the Englishman of Owens as well. But look at this gaggle of cars here, Dan. Who would you pick out of this lot?
Well, Miles Owens said, I'm not going to let this one go without a fight. There he goes once again up the inside of Pete Van Gaal. Has to settle in the end for P6. Ralph Cullinan, though, says, I want a piece of that as well. And he goes up the inside of Miles Owens. Miles Owens, though, pinches him to the inside. There's a bit of contact between the two. And Miles Owens, the one who comes out ahead in the end. But Ralph Cullinan looking really punchy here in those early stages.
Yeah, David Ayres has not got past Charles Kellerman. However, he has got Jamie Ayres and Roger Morton for company as well here. So this is going to be interesting. Anthony Jacobson has overtaken Craig Jones. Carl Jacklett is running around the wide line of Jones. Jones goes up the inside line. And Jones currently is in 4th as Jacklett comes back down the outside and then takes the 3rd place away there. Ralph Cullinan still tucked up behind Owens here as well. This is a battle for 6th place currently. Be interested to see how this one turns out with the ever-looming Pete Newman tucked up right behind him, Dan.
Well, Pete Newman, what can he do? It looks like Cullinan is going to go for a move around the outside of Jones, does to Owens. What Owens did to him last lap. Owens a little bit of a snap though. Can he keep it pointing in the right direction? Yes, he can. That has lost him time as well to Pete Newman. What has happened to the pace that Miles Owens had at the beginning of this evening? It all of a sudden seems like that has faded away. Miles Owens, though, says, I'm going to try and hang this one around the outside. Can he make it, though? Yes, he can. Pete Newman is not passed yet.
He's still there. He's looking at that inside line dangerously, I think, for Miles Owens. Owens has got to pick which way is going to be best for him at the moment. And at the moment, if I was Owens, it would be hanging right round into that inside line. Not sure if Newman's going to make it this time. I don't think he is at the moment. But he's definitely going to be there or thereabouts. And we've got, there he goes. Oh, he did go in hard, did Pete Newman. Over Miles Owens through turn 12, decided enough was enough and he was going to go for it. And he went for it all the while. Let's open it up about 4.5 second gap. James Neave up in front with Pete Newman behind it, Stefan. So there's a big old gap here materializing from Neve. Neve's opening up a good 5 seconds at the moment and is getting away from all these gaggle of cars that are battling in this mid-pack down.
Well, that was a lick to stem and send it from Pete Newman, if I've ever seen one there, James. I thought when he, clipped the apex, he was never, ever going to make that corner, but he got it stopped in time and he went past Miles Owens. Miles Owens, though, already under attack from Jamie Ayres as well. It seems like here, James, that maybe the conditions are different for Miles Owens, or for everyone, but the conditions are different, and Miles Owens is struggling with that a bit more. Meanwhile, though, there's a battle for P2. Carl Jacklett round the outside, goes Anthony Jacobson. Can't quite make it though. Maybe a cut back now for Jacobson.
Oh.
Or Jacklett has a little bit of a snap. Yes, he does. And there goes Jacobson up the inside of Jacklett. Has to settle now for P3. Without a turn one. A big snap for Jacklett. And I think happy enough to keep that car pointing in the right direction. Meanwhile, Pete Van Gool going up the inside now around the outside of Craig Jones. Craig Jones hangs it up the inside though. Luckily for Craig Jones, no contact, and he keeps his P4. Not too bad here at all at the moment for Craig Jones. Still though, 3.5 laps to go here.
Yeah, they haven't got long left really in conjunction. They've probably got about another 6.5 minutes of racing. And we're on lap 4 currently, coming towards the end of lap 4 here as well with Anthony Jacobson, Kyle Jacklett, Craig Jones, Pete Van Gool. Van Gool is going to be looking at the inside of Jones, looking at the inside of Jacklett. Steady on him there, down in turn 11. I would let Jacklett go and just settle, yeah, do that. That's exactly what I would do if I was Craig Jones. I would just settle right back in behind him and put your nose right back behind him again and use him for the draft all the way down, because he's got Jacobson not too far in front either. Depends on which way Jacklett's going to go. I think Jacklett's got to go defensive. He's got to be looking at that inside line into 12. Oh, Van Gool, where are you going? Oh, Jacklett's gone round. Chaos. Miles Owens.
Oh, no.
Oh, nose deep into Carl Jacklett there. Pete Van Gool is off as well. Carl Jacklett sat there as well. Miles Owens nose deep into Carl Jacklett's front. And that's, well, unfortunate for them. Cullen's got no bonnet on his car at all. He's reducing the air. The aerodynamics in that GR86 there. He's trying to get as much air into the engine as possible. But he's doing it with Pete Newman tucked up right behind him at the moment.
Well, Cullen, what can he do? Here we go. We're going to watch a replay of that. Pete Van Gool. It looked like he went in a bit too hot, but it also looked like they didn't really expect Pete Van Gool up the inside there. There we go. Pete Van Gool a little bit unsettled.
You know, I looked at it. I didn't know if there was much contact on Craig Jones. I can't see if Jones actually touched him. Maybe I'm looking.
I don't think so.
So we're going to see. Here's Carl Jacklett there. There was contact from somebody, but I'm wondering if it's PVG.
Yeah, it was PVG. It was PVG up the inside. If we go helicam maybe on PVG, we will see. Here we go up the inside. There we go. It looks like it's gone in a little bit too deep, and then they just cut back to the apex. Pete Van Gool can't quite make the turn because he's gone in too tight. And well, then it all unravels.
Yeah, it definitely does after that. But Craig Jones was not responsible for that incident. So fair play.
If anything, he gained out of that.
He did, yeah. He's in 3rd place now. The highest leading pro. So fair play to him. Be interesting to see how this one turns out. I think Neve is going to get it here. I know it's early, but I think he is.
That's not the best exit, though, for Craig Jones onto the back stretch. And it looks like JamesParfittBroadcasting has this one settled. He's going to go for the inside. If I was Craig Jones, I would let this one go. The podium for the pros is still very much on for Craig Jones if he doesn't do anything crazy here. We're on lap 5. 2 laps to go after this one. Craig Jones says, JamesParfittBroadcasting goes ahead. Go ahead. I'll try and hang with you in the slipstream. Try and get some time on the drivers behind us as well to consolidate this P2 I have in the pros. Because for the difficult start he's had this season, a P2 in the pros would definitely not be anything to, well, be sad about for Craig Jones.
Definitely not at the moment. Roger Morton is still going at Ralph Cullen. Cullen's obviously got no bonnet. Looking like we're still on a time lap of 15 here. We were a bit worried about the time at the beginning. We're at 2.5 minutes remaining, so we're going to be having one more lap after this one, and then we will be on the last lap. Cullen there, he's just his poor car. David Ayres has really got to look at copping the bill on all of these results cars currently at the moment, but not slow Cullen down here this evening as we see James Neve take the final
white flag
there. So James Neve is through. Jacobson still in 2nd. Jamie Ayres in 3rd with Craig Jones 4th. Pete Newman being chased down by the bonnetless Ralph Cullinan. And this is going to be where the action will be for the final lap, I think, Dan, as well, to be fair.
Well, let me tell you, a lot of drivers picking up some off tracks here and there, because last time round was the quickest lap time for Anthony Jacobson at 2:32.69, because all the drivers behind or ahead of that all had off tracks. Not only because of that, he is, of course, the 32.6 is a very quick lap time, but a lot of drivers picking up some off tracks, as the likes of James Neave, Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, Ralph Cullinan, all picking up off tracks at 31, 32 respectively for all those drivers. So yeah, at 32.6, the official quickest lap time at the moment.
Yeah, 32.6. Anthony Jacobson has got that currently at the moment. Jamie Ayres is looking in to try and get hold of Jacobson. Ayres takes a big wide line. He's tried to carry as much speed as he can. Jones did not look like he carried as much, and has now got Pete Newman for company, and I'm not entirely sure how Jones can defend this. He's got to try and get over, but the problem is he's got to get over now. Can't allow Newman to bustle him off that inside line, and he kind of has done. Ayres has done the same thing, nearly did the same thing to Jacobson, but it's going to be Newman through past Jones. Jones going to try and hang around the outside on this next section through 13 and 14. He comes back at Newman. Can he push Newman out enough to allow Cullinan to lock in behind him? Tough ask though, Dan, isn't it, really, when you say it? Quite as straightforward as that.
Yeah, it is. It isn't just as straightforward as we just talked about. Jamie Ayres overtaking Anthony Jacobson now for P2. Saw that pause. And Pete Newman now in P4 ahead of Greg Jones. There is the finish already, I think, in just a couple of seconds for James Neave, though, James.
Yeah, he's going to come across around the last corner now. Here comes James Neave to take the victory in race 3. Well done to him. Jamie Ayres is going to come across the line in second. Anthony Jacobson third. Pete Newman fourth. Greg Jones hangs on for fifth. Cullinan sixth. Roger Morton in seventh place, and David Ayres behind that. Charles Kellerman behind him as well. Miles Owen, not a good race 3 there, Dan, all the way down into 10th.
Yeah, not where he wants to be, Miles Owens. Of course, a little bit of compensation, though, it will be done in race 1 and 2, and maybe in race 4 as well. But yeah, this is not where you want to be if you want to be winning championships. But let's be honest here, James. All drivers will have those races where you get a bit unlucky because something happens ahead of you and you just cannot avoid it. And in the end, you end down, well, back in P10 or even worse in P11, 12, 13 or 14.
Yeah, and there was nothing he could do there. He just come round, didn't he? And literally, there was the car in front of him. James Neave, Jamie Ayres. James Neave is your winner. Jamie Ayres in second. Anthony Jacobson third. Pete Newman fourth. Craig Jones fifth. Ralph Cullinan sixth. Roger Morton seventh. David Ayres in eighth place. Charles Kellerman ninth. Miles Owens 10th. Carl Hardy in 11th. Jason Huntington in 12th. PVG in 13th. Carl Jacklett 14th. And Mick Barry in 15th. And we are going to have a quick word with Pete Van Gool. Pete, good evening. How are you?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm fine, but I guess a couple of other drivers aren't.
No. Give us your perspective, I suppose.
My perspective is that I ran out of talent and missed my brake marker and just created a nice little pile-up, which was utterly unintended.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apologies to Carl, especially Carl Jacklett, because I tapped him round and that set off a little dominoes effect there. But I was watching, I think it was Craig was ahead of me. I was just too focused on the cars instead of my brake markers, and then I was just, oh, they're braking, no, I'm not going to make it. Ah! And that's just how it unfolded.
Okay. Well, nice of you to come in there. You have got race 4 to go, though.
Yes, looking forward to it. I do. The car's growing on me, and I don't like this track, but the racing's all right. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next race.
Be a good one, mate. And we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully hit your brake markers and get round cleanly.
I'll try.
All right, mate. Well, you take care, and we'll catch up with you soon.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah.
Well, James, if you ever wondered how a grown Dutchman sounds when he misses his braking marker, that's exactly how it sounds.
It does, yes, exactly. But guys, we have got to change over for the fourth and final race this evening. So once again, as always, we look forward to seeing you after this short break. Okay, guys, we are back for the fourth and final race here this evening. I am James Parfitt, joined in the booth by the one and only Mr. Daan Pepels. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. Give the video a big old thumbs up and don't forget to turn on the bells for notifications. That would be absolutely amazing. We're heading into race 4. Dan, we know the chaos that commences in race 4. We've seen it before. What do we think? We've had an interview with PVGs, come in and apologise to Carl Jacklett mainly, who he set round starting off that flurry of cars hitting each other. And what do we think race 4 is going to bring us? Because as you and I both know, race 4 is normally quite chaotic.
Well, I have something to argue against that, which is the fact that I think we saw it happen in turn 1 as well. I don't quite remember who it was again, but someone had to, I think it was Craig Jones, who had to make room for, if I remember correctly, Anthony Jacobson, by, well, making a maneuver to the right-hand side because Anthony Jacobson went a little bit deep. Maybe that could have been done there as well. You don't, of course, have to. That Pete said it himself. He missed his braking point, but it wasn't like he overshot it by miles. He clipped the apex, and then instead of being able to turn, he went straight for half a meter more. And I guess they didn't expect that. And well, from that point on, it all went well wrong. Let's say, yeah.
Pete Tong. I think the thing is, though, right, is don't ever look 3 cars back. You know what I mean? Carl Jacklett would have been committed to turning left at that point. Wouldn't have been.
Well, you don't expect the 2 cars back to go for a move on you, would you?
Well, no, exactly. And wouldn't expect it either. As you say, PVG said he'd run out of talent, he missed his braking point and went hurtling into turn 11 like it was like an absolute banshee, and managed to only been around Carl Jacklett, where really he could have been any one of that 3 that was in front of him. So from Jacklett's point of view, I don't think he could have given him any more room. He wouldn't have expected him to be there.
Okay.
Carl Hardy and David Ayres, and then Roger Moore doing their thing.
As long as it happens in practice and not in the race.
Exactly.
I mean, why not?
But I don't think Jacklett could have given him any more room. I just think that there was just not enough room there, and he would not have seen PVG coming in 3 cars back. You know what I mean? I think it would have been asking a lot of him to leave that amount of room. I've got to go with Jacklett on this one. I'm sorry, but I just don't think there was a chance he would. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
No, of course you don't expect that. And that's why I'm saying I have something to argue against that. But it is, of course, a very different situation to that one at turn 1 with Anthony Jacobson and Craig Jones. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things that if you have some kind of 7th sense, you can kind of sense that. I don't know.
I don't know. He wouldn't have sensed that.
Difficult.
I don't think he would have sensed PVG that far back, man.
No.
There would have been no way in hell. He would have been committed to the corner. Even if he had triples, he would not have seen him coming. The only way he would have seen him is if Jacklett's in VR and Jacklett can turn his head to the left and see this hurtling Momo guy come flying through. But I don't think he would have seen him. Right, we are going to do the grid. Owens in first, Kellerman second, Ayres third, Morton fourth, Cullinan fifth, Jones sixth, Newman seventh, Jacobson 8th, Ayres in 9th, Neve 10th, Hardy 11th, Hannington in 12th. Behind that is PVG, and we've got 12 cars on track. One of them is Miles Owen. He's at the front. The lights are going to be coming on very shortly, Dan, and I've just sped read that for the fast as possible.
Well, good job.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thanks, I feel proud of myself. For the lights, here we go now. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And Miles Owens gets us away. And right now, Dan, before we even start, I'm going to put down his Miles Owens for the win.
Well, Miles Owens has been quick this whole evening. I'm going to put down Pete Newman for the win. Pete Newman is up the inside of... there's contact between Pete Newman and I think Roger Morton.
Yeah. Chaos at the top of the track. Turn 1 already. Neve's gone round. Jason Hannington. Neve's gone over. Morton's in there. PVG is just... Well, he's in the wall. Neve, Jacobson, Hardy have all gone round already. Miles Owens is still out in front with Pete Newman in third place, currently in the middle there with Charles Kellerman. But behind that, Jason Haddington is chasing down Jones as well. And involved in that incident, Jamie Ayres, David Ayres, Ralph Cullen, Craig Jones, Anthony Jacobson, and PVG and Carl Hardy. So pretty much most of it.
Well, Charles Kellerman is right at the back of Miles Owens. Can he try and make that pass before they get to the long straight? I wouldn't. If I was Charles Kellerman, I would try to put Miles Owens off. This is exactly what he has done. But he's also put himself off, and he spun. Almost collected Pete Newman, Roger Morton, Jamie Ayres, and Ralph Cullen. And luckily for all those four, he spun just enough to the inside of the corner. Pete Newman, of course, saw that happening and went a little bit to the right, but that was very close between those five.
I think that would have been a Pete Newman, oh dear. Not going to lie, because that was insane how he's managed to avoid that. Here we are on the nose with Pete now. In front of us is Miles Owens and Charles Kellerman. Kellerman's going to come round. He's going to come across the track. Whoa! Literally in the smoke of Charles Kellerman's spinning wheels. And we managed to avoid him there as well. Unfortunately now for Miles Owens. Got Pete Newman behind him, and that's not kind of the gentleman I would want chasing me. Especially, David Ayres has gone round at the back. Poor old David Ayres. Stay where you are. Oh, David Ayres has gone round as well. Carl Hardy is back out. Charles Kellerman trying to make his way through James Neve and David Ayres, and now we're back up front with Miles Owens, who's defending stoutly from Pete Newman currently. Is it now? Okay, we've seen Pete in these positions. We've seen what he can do in the car. You know, we're 4 seasons in. Are we looking at a matter of not if, but when? It's a tough one, isn't it? And that's not trying to be disrespectful to Owens there, but we've just seen it before, haven't we, Daan, with him?
I don't know, James. Miles is quick. He's proven that he's quick as well, but I don't know if he's up to the level of Pete Newman. There's definitely, like we said at the beginning, not much between them. But yeah, Pete Newman has proven it time and time again. And we haven't seen too much of Miles Owens yet. Of course, this is his third round of the season and with the UK SimRacers so far. So we don't know exactly where he stacks up. We have a rough idea of where he stacks up to the rest, but we don't know exactly where yet. Pete Newman, though, is all over the back of Miles Owens. He's going to try to put him off into turn 11. He does so. Miles goes tight. That will give Pete Newman a better exit. And now this is a straight where Pete Newman wants to do it. 3.5 tenths is the gap, coming down rapidly. And Miles Owens, I think, is going to be under attack here into turn 12.
Yeah, I think Newman now is going to be looking at taking the inside. I'm surprised Owens did not go across the track and cut that inside line off for this run down into 12. I'm just shocked that he didn't go straight across. I don't know if that's confidence. I don't know if he feels he can't. Morton's just, done it, and Jamie Ayres couldn't get through. I think Owens could have done with being a bit more stoutly on his defending. He wants to be a more Tony Adams or a Gary McAllister or a Yap Stam or something like that, and instead he was more, David Sanchez or something.
Oh no, he's wide.
Yeah, and he's just unfortunately gone wide. I think from Miles Owens' point of view, I kind of wanted to see more. I wanted to see him stoutly defend that against Newman. I wanted to see him take that inside line, block him off into 12 and get through, because now he's going down the order and he's been eaten by Pete Newman, Jamie Ayres at the moment, and now he's got, for the good health, the Irishman of Ralph Cullen behind him. And he's got to try and do something, because otherwise he's just going to keep sliding down, Dan. And as you and I both know, that when the rot starts, you just keep going, whether or not you're meaning to or not. It's going to be tough for Owens to do something about it now.
Yeah, well, I think the only thing, to be honest, that Miles Owens is worried about is, well, that win in the AM clause. He knows that he's not in the overall championship. He knows that he's not going to be consistently up there. But what he does know is that he's consistently up in the top 3. Oh, that's Anthony Jacobson around. Harrington gets that pass, although he went really wide into turn 1. This is now Jamie Ayres under attack from Miles Owens, so he isn't going to let this one go without a fight. He won some of it, but, well, it looks like Jamie Ayres went a little bit deep into there. A second is the gap already to Pete Newman. And, well, I expected it at the beginning. Pete Newman looked really quick all those last races, and now he, of course, had a little bit of a start more to the front than all the others. And it seems like Jamie Ayres and Pete Newman are now going to fight it out for this win. Miles Owens, though, like I was just saying, he's consistently up there in the AM class, so I think the only thing he's worried about is that AM championship.
Yeah, oh! Ralph Cullinan goes round. The Irishman spinning. Unfortunately for him, Jamie Ayres is still being chased down by Miles Owens. Now we've got Craig Jones in the pits and PVG. I pushed the exit button by accident, says Craig Jones. I haven't actually mapped one of them. So Craig Jones is now out. He's in the pits with PVG. I get what you're saying about Owens, but he had a chance here tonight to make some big dents on that AM championship. You know, he still can be in third, and he's still tracking Jamie Ayres, which I think is great. But you know, I don't know. I just wanted to see more. I wanted to see Miles Owens moving it across the track and not being, you know, an official driver where they move in the braking zone and try and cut you off as you're already beside them. But you get what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think we all wanted to see a little bit more of a fight. It's always entertaining to see an underdog story, well, if you can really call it one, because we're going to say it again. We've said it a million times already this evening, but the gap between the pros and the AMs is not big at all. So I don't know if you can really call it an underdog story here if Miles Owens would have won. Of course, you never expect an AM to win. We've seen it a couple of times already this season, though, so he wouldn't be the first one. But it would definitely be one of those who well, hasn't been done too often. But Miles Owens, well, moved aside, I think, for Pete Newman and said, well, I'm not going to let you through easily, though, but I am going to fight you, but I'm not going to fight you as hard as I would maybe a Roger Morton, who we just saw spin at turn 1.
Yeah, we're currently on a list of 4 AM drivers. Mick Barry was the very first AM victor. Craig Jones was behind that. James Neve was one after that as well, and
after that, no one has done it anymore.
No, that would have been the 4th. So yeah. So Craig Jones is in the list of AM drivers that did take an overall victory. So fair play to him. Carl Hardy is battling away here with Charles Kellerman. These guys are having a good old scrap down in battle for 8th place. Hardy behind in the bright green safeguard by result car. Charles Kellerman not really rocking the optical green colours this year. I thought optical would have gone out and did their normal red, green and blue as Hardy's gone up the inside into 11. I don't know if I would have gone that early. I might have wanted to stay behind Kellerman a little bit more. But I guess from Hardy's point of view, he obviously knows something we don't. As does Roger Morton further up in front of him currently at the moment. We've got Ralph Cullinan alongside us. These two side by side. There's going to be Cullinan through on the inside into 12 there as well. But it's Kellerman. See how Hardy's moved over and defended it. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, well, this is a battle for class position, so this matters a bit more to Carl Hardy than it did to Miles Owens at the time. Saying so, Miles Owens is not out of this one yet. The gap is only 1.2 seconds to the lead. If something happens to Pete Newman or Jamie Ayres, he's right behind Pete Newman or Jamie Ayres. So he's still in this fight for the lead. It's not over at all for Miles Owens. If he can just keep on the back of Jamie Ayres, he still has a really good shot at the win here.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens here with Miles Owens. Battling away with Jamie Ayres and Pete Newman currently in front. Ayres in second, Newman in first. Newman's going to Ez is going to tighten up that corner with Pete Newman behind him. Newman now in up front as they go down into the S's section, down through turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on that run through. Here we go. We're going to be entering into the 5-6 complex. Coming out of 6 now, down through 7 we go. And we've got the left hand out of 7. And just for good health, we're going to have a right hand area of 8. And then a brief left into 9 before we go on that run down through 10 and 11. 20 corners here tonight, don't forget as well. These guys have got a lot. We're going to have one and one more, I believe. And we enter into turn 12.
I think next lap, James, we will be on the last lap if I'm correct.
Yeah, you are.
That section, though, from turn 1 all the way down to turn 10, the tires are screaming through there. There's not one moment where the tires get a little bit of rest. Jamie Ayres, though, is not going to give Pete Newman any rest, though. He's going to try and go for the move for the lead, though, around the outside into turn 12. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. Outbrakes it. Pete Newman, though, the second phase of braking comes back. Is it enough, though, to get alongside Jamie Ayres? For the moment, it is. The inside is for Jamie Ayres, and I think Pete Newman has to settle for a P2. What this all is doing is allowing Miles Owens and Pete Newman to, well, once again get closer to Jamie Ayres. Pete Newman, of course, we just saw that pass made by Jamie Ayres on Pete Newman. And, well, that pass started, I think, on the exit of turn 11, where Jamie Ayres got a better exit. Pete Newman, though, is fighting back. Couldn't quite make that pass at the inside of Ayres. Usually through that section, you see a good run in the first part means that you have a worse run in the second part, and, well, change that around if you want the opposite. But Pete Newman
Was close.
is not going to let Jamie Ayres go.
No, Newman was close, and he was literally nose to tail with Jamie Ayres there. What is it? The last lap of the race. Barney is waving. We are into the last lap of the race. Are we going to see it now? Oh, here he goes. Oh, they're going to cut. Do you know what? I'm scared now, right about now, because I've got a funny feeling they're going to collide.
Well, let's hope that's not going to be the case here, James. Of course, we've seen a lot of collisions in race 4 already, as we're kind of almost used to. Not always collisions that are race-ending for drivers, but just drivers getting more comfortable with the car, the track, and pushing it a little bit more. And, well, the margins for error are going to be smaller and smaller once you're, of course, going to push the car a little bit more. But Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres, at the moment, I don't think Pete Newman is close enough to actually collide with Jamie Ayres, or he would have to outbrake himself. That's a good run, though, of turn 10
12.
into turn 11.
Here we go. It's going to be 12. Newman's going to go inside of 12. That's my prediction. Got 3
Is he
temps.
close enough, though?
Yeah, he's got 3 temps. He still should be bring that down. He'll bring it down to at least 1 at the braking point. And as we know, Newman's very good on the brake pedal. Whether or not he's going to have a go to, here we go. Is he going to peer out? Oh, I'm surprised. I am shocked, Dan, that Newman did not go for that right at that end there.
It's not over yet. The inside is still available here for Pete Newman. Jamie Ayres leaves the inside open. And Pete Newman takes that. Couldn't quite make it stick, though. Miles Owens is now right behind Pete Newman. Could he make a double overtake in this last sector to well, do something incredible?
Is he gonna though? That's the thing. Is he confident enough? Is Miles Owens confident enough in his own ability to take on Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres in this final section? He's got to be able to do something. They're very close. They're battling it out now. The door's wide open. He's only got 1 more corner to go. I don't think he is. I don't think he's just not going to make it. You could go. Oh, he's not going to get it on the line. It's going to be Jamie Ayres here. Jamie Ayres takes the victory. Newman second. Owens is the AM victor. But it was Ayres there out in front. And behind that, we've got Ralph Cullinan, who is just coming across the line. And then Morton and Neve I don't know if he had the confidence to make that pass. And that's the scary thing. I just wasn't sure whether or not Miles Owens had that confidence to send that car up the inside like he could have done over Pete Newman.
It was a half move into the last turn, and he wasn't, like you said, it looked like he wasn't quite comfortable in his ability to do it. And well, I think there was an opportunity there for Miles Owens to do it, but couldn't quite finish it off in the end, I think.
I believe there was, and there we go, Dan. For the final time this evening, there's the results for race 4.
Well, race 4 finishes once again with Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres at the top. Of course, race 1 was Pete Newman his time. Race 2 was Jamie Ayres' time. And here in race 4, once again, it is Jamie Ayres on top ahead of Pete Newman. Miles Owens, of course, our victor in the AM class. Ralph Cullinan in P4. Of course, P3 in the Pro class. Roger Morton in P2 in the AM class. P5 overall. James Neve in P6 overall. And P3 in the AM class. Carl Hardy in P7, P8 for Jason Haddington. P9 for Charles Kellyman, P10 for Anthony Jacobson, and David Ayres, the last one to finish his race in P11. Craig Jones and Pete Van Gool both out of this race in 12th and 13th, respectively.
Go see if we are going to be joined by any of the boys this evening for a chat, and they've had a very busy evening, so let's see if we can have a chat, and we do. We've got the one, the only Mr. Craig Jones in the booth. Good evening, Craig. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Mixed bag tonight. Nearly 4 solid finishes, so that was better than last week. And it's only the 4th race. I hit the wrong button, which is my own fault. But other than that, positives. Again, I've moved forward a little bit. Every week I'm moving out a little bit more forward, which is good.
Yeah. Race 1 didn't go so well. You ventured off and saw parts of the circuit. So you definitely did well on that one, seeing the other parts of the circuit there. Race 2 got a little bit more consistent for you. Are you getting to grips with this wonderful GR86, or are you still not loving it?
Nope.
That no, you're not still loving it, Craig, or no, you're not getting to grips with it?
I bring me back my beloved MX-5. It's just not the same car. I know it's dividing the league completely in half at the moment, which is interesting. But it just doesn't have the same feel about it. The it's still good racing, but it's not as good as what you can do in the MX-5. And I've got to try and get that out of my head, I think, as well, because I think it was, I can't remember which one of the races, I was trying to chase down the pack at the front, and I was doing things you just can't do in that car, hence the spinning and visiting various other parts of the circuit. So I've just got to try and rewire my brain a little bit to not drive the way I used to drive. But I am missing the MX-5, and I don't think any amount of laps or practice or anything like that's gonna change my mind on it, unfortunately.
Okay, well, Craig, look, keep going. We love we love a trier. The trying every single week, which is great, and trying to get the grips with the car, which is absolutely amazing. So, fair play to you for having a go. Next week, we go into Donington Park. That's going to be an interesting one overall, I think, for a lot of people. Are you going to be loving Donington?
It's a track I prefer. So I think if you look at the season so far, so the first place we went to, I'm not a fan of. Love Brands Hatch. I mean, who doesn't love Brands Hatch? I got a little bit of success from that. Came to this track, which I don't particularly like, and I don't really think it suits the car either. So Donington has a few more sort of faster paced turns, which is more my cup of tea. So I'm looking forward to next week to see what I can pull out of the bag there.
Good. Well, you have a good week, Craig. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Well, I can see my mate Balf there in the waiting room. So I've got to give a shout out to him. I think he's had a half decent night tonight.
Yeah, it's not been too bad.
Yeah, and Carl Hardy and Roger Morton as well, because they both helped me out with setups and sort of taking me around the track and trying to coax some speed out of me. So yeah, big thank you to them. I'm quick to criticise, but on this occasion, I'm going to be sensible and say thank you to them.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Craig, for joining me, and we'll look forward to having a chat with you next week.
See you later.
Right, let's bring in, I want to chat with Miles Owens. Miles, good evening. How are you, sir?
Hello, boys. You alright?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Merry Christmas to you as well. How are you?
Oh, I'm great after that. Because, like I said to you before, on practice, I was nowhere near it. And I managed to get behind someone and let them pull me along, and I learnt the lines.
Yeah,
So,
two victories this evening. One second place as well. And obviously, we won't worry about race 3. But what was it at the end, Neg? Look, I've got to be honest, right, Miles? I want to see Miles Owens go for a victory, send it out the inside on Pete Newman at turn 19, and whatever happens out after turn 20 happens. Now, obviously, you were thinking differently to me.
No, I wasn't thinking. I was on the last corner, on the second to last lap. I got a slowdown. So I had to slow that down, and then I went again. And then they started battling, and I caught back up again. But I tried to get the exit, and I was going to have a go, but I got the slowdown, so unfortunately. But I'm still happy with P1 and M's. You know, that's what matters, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. That's what all that matters. And you took your class victory, and I'm happy for you, Miles, because since you come in, you've done a stellar job this season. I don't know. Wanted to get Miles Owens' overall victory, but maybe next week at Donington.
Well, the boys in front of me, they were rapid, and they're so quick, and they're so clean, and it's going to be hard to beat them.
Well, look, mate, I'm sure you will have a good old go, and we will look forward to seeing you next week in the booth. Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to before you leave the booth?
Shout out to the Platinum Racing team for helping me be part of this league and all the sponsors that come with it. So, good. Thank you very much, and obviously you guys for putting a great show on.
Absolutely, thank you very much, and have a good new year, Miles.
Thank you very much, and yourself, boys.
Take care.
See ya. Bye.
Right, Dan. So we're back. So, he wasn't thinking how we thought he was thinking. He was going to go for it, but couldn't make it stick over the last few corners. So, overall, fair play to Miles Owens, who's done an absolute stellar job in it.
Yeah, he did. It was an amazing evening for him once again. Consistently up there. And, if he keeps doing what he's doing right now, he's definitely going to be up there for that championship fight in the AM class.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible there as well. But thank you so much, guys. That brings us to the end of the broadcast here this evening, and much love to everybody that's joined us in the booth, as always, with the guys on the interviews and you guys in chat as well. Ivan Brayman's been here right the way from the beginning to the end, so much love to you as well. Thank you so much to everybody else. Phil across the pond, as always. Alan Toon, get well soon, buddy. We'll look forward to seeing you shortly. Darryl Wright, take some lem sips, mate. Get some lem sips inside here. They work wonders for colds and flus. But Dan, final word from you. Good evening. Was it a good racing night?
Definitely. Well, my final words will be thank you all for, because they won't see me again until the new year, for an incredible 2022 here with JPB. Thank you all for supporting us and supporting me. Thank you all for the kind messages I've received from drivers and viewers. It's been amazing, and 2022 is for me definitely a year to look back on positively. I'm looking forward definitely to be working with JPB once again in 2023 and to seeing all of you in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Been an absolutely stellar year here for JPB. We do have one more broadcast coming up on Thursday for the Radical Race Series to round out our new year, to round out the final one of the year. Actually, beyond that as well, on the Friday night, mind you, we're not done. On the Friday night, we've got the SRL G4 round 4 as well. So we've still got 2 more broadcasts here before we round out 2023. So much love to everybody who supported us. And don't forget, come by on Thursday for Road Atlanta. And then on Friday, we're at Road America. So there we go. Great choices of tracks. But that is it for us this evening, guys, as well. So for myself and Dan Pepels, you take care. Have a great week. Never know. Might see you on the track sometime. Good night.